Good morning, my Sunday school friends. I am so happy that you're here with us today for our Sunday school story time. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to check out last week's video with Cassandra and an awesome story, and we did a frog craft, so definitely make sure to check that out. So, before we get into our special reader for today, I have some news. Just kidding. It's really not that dramatic. I just like the sound effect. So here's the news. Normally, we would have our last day of Sunday school on the 23rd of May, which we would have had a big party to celebrate all together. Since we can't be together, we've decided to do something a little different this year because we still want to celebrate everything that you've done in your church school year. So, keep an eye out on May 17th for a delivery to your home. In this package will be some instructions on what to do, and you'll get some more information as we go. So tell mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or aunt or uncle or anybody, any grown-up that you're with at home, to keep an eye out for emails and church alerts from me with more information about what our celebration is going to be all about. So that's the news. With no further ado, I'm very excited to tell you about our next reader. Our next reader is part of our Sunday school church family. Her name is Lorelei. Lorelei is going to be reading this book. I hope you enjoy it. And just a reminder, if you would like to be featured in one of our videos, please contact me. I would love to see you, and I would love to hear what story you have to share. So, without further ado, here is Lorelei.
Hi, First Congregational Church. My name is Lorelei, and today I'm going to be reading a book called What is Given from the Heart. Okay. It was a rough few months for Mama and me. We were already poor, but we got poorer last April when Daddy went to sleep on the front porch and never woke up. Mama cried and cried because Daddy didn't have a suit to be buried in. Come June, we lost the farm and moved to a rundown shotgun house in the bottoms. On Friday the 13th, it rained frogs. Everything flooded, and Smitty, my dog, disappeared. Missouri loves company, Mama said, shaking her head as she swept water out the back door. I hugged her up close, the way I always did when she was sad or I was scared. Long as we have our health and strength, we are blessed, James Otis, Mama said, trying to sound brave, but things didn't get any better. We got an early snowfall in November, and Christmas was skimpy, but we made it through the new year. Before I realized, February was upon us, with Valentine's Day just 2 weeks away. One Sunday, Reverend Dennis made an announcement. During services, just as we always do, we'll be delivering love boxes to needy folks in our community. He said, Irene Temple and her little girl have lost everything in a fire. We must add them to our list. Next week, bring whatever you think might be useful to them. Remember, what is given from the heart reaches the heart. James Otis, we need to help out, Mama said on the cold walk home. I came back with, how are we going to do that, Mama? We ain't got nothing ourselves. Mama kept right on talking. Sister Bunch told me the daughter's name is Sarah. She's 7, 2 years younger than you. You can find a little bit of something for her, don't you think? I wasn't convinced. What do I have that little girl would want? Now, said Mama. Remember what Reverend Dennis said. What is given from the heart reaches the heart. That night, I lay warm and toasty under one of Mama's quilts. Still, it made me tremble to think about a fire taking away what little we did have. What can I give Sarah to make up for all she's lost? I wondered. I considered a blue ribbon I'd won in the school spelling bee. Nah, that award was important to me, but it would mean nothing to her. I looked over my beautiful sparkling rock, the one I'd found down by the creek. But how would that help Sarah? You can't eat a rock. Unable to come up with anything good, I pulled the covers over my head and drifted off to sleep. Come morning, I found Mama in the kitchen, busy sewing. I knew if I had a fire, I would miss my aprons, explained Mama. So I've decided to make Mrs. Temple one. But Mama, you're using your white tablecloth, the only nice thing you have. James Otis, I'm stitching with a loving heart. My hope is that this apron will give as much joy to Mrs. Temple as the tablecloth has given me. Mama's smile was a welcoming sight. That made me study harder on what I could contribute. Maybe Sarah would like something to play with, like my whistle from Dexter Mason's birthday party. My spit was all over it. What about my crayons? I drew so many pictures with them, even though the black, pink, and dark blue were missing. No way, I couldn't give her used crayons. And I couldn't give her my pencil that was just a nub and not much of an eraser left either. As time flew toward Valentine's Day, I fretted more and more. I considered giving Sarah a puzzle. It didn't bother me that 2 pieces were missing, but it might bother her. That won't do, not even with a bow on it, and neither would my capeless Superman Halloween costume. I remembered my book, Things That Roll. Mom had paid 10 cents for it at the resale shop. I read it every night until I memorized each word, and then I drew pictures of all the stuff that rolled. Sarah might enjoy my book, I thought, but maybe she didn't like trucks and marbles and such. Still, it got to me thinking. I gathered my crayons and pencil and some paper and got busy. On Sunday before Valentine's Day, we were off to church. Along the way, Mama told me, as usual, the trustees will deliver the love boxes to the homes of the needy, but Reverend Dennis has invited the Temples to receive theirs on Olive Chapel, so they can meet the congregation. The church was full. Mama beamed as she carefully placed the apron in the box. When we presented the Temples with their love box, filled with all kinds of clothing, food, tools, and toys, Mrs. Temple was overcome with emotion. The congregation all shouted, "Amen!" Even so, Sarah seemed sad and afraid. She clung to her Mama's arm and hid her face. I walked over to where they were standing. "Hi, Sarah," I said, sounding cheery-like. "My name is James Otis, and I'm pleased to meet you." "Same to you," she answered, looking at her feet. "Here," I said, handing her my gift. I wrote it, drew the pictures, and put it together by myself, just for you. Sarah managed to smile as she stared at the book I'd made. Then, real slow-like, she read the cover, From My Heart to Your Heart, by James Otis Bentway. It's about a little girl named Sarah and, "Don't tell me," she said. "I want to read about myself by myself." "I can't believe it," she squealed. "A book about me." Then she covered her mouth to catch a giggle. Seeing little Sarah happy made me happy too. I laughed out loud. I put some hard words in so you can look them up. "You sound like my teacher." She pressed the book against her heart, closed her eyes, and whispered, "Thank you, James Otis. I will keep this book forever and ever." Walking home, Mama held my hand. "The Temples looked very grateful," she said. "I think we reached their hearts," I said. Mama nodded. "I'm proud of you, James Otis." "How come?" I asked. "'Cause you're you." In winter, night comes early. The sky was darkening, and it had started to snow. I stuck my tongue out to catch a snowflake. Mama spun joyfully, round and round. Suddenly, Mama stopped. "Look, there's something on our porch." I rushed ahead, and there it was. A love box had been delivered to us. and our hearts rejoiced as our hearts rejoiced. Now that is the story of what is given from the heart.
Wow, Lorelei, what a great story. Thank you so much for being our special reader. We really enjoyed listening to your story. I know Max and Molly really liked it. Right, Molly? Yeah, she thought you did a great job. All right, next up we have a craft. The craft for today is going to be a book. So we're going to make a book just like the little boy made a book for his friend in the story that we just heard from Lorelei. So this is a pretty easy craft for you to put together, but what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to make a book for somebody in your house and tell the story about why you love them or why they're special to you. So let me go get some things. I'll be right back. So for our craft today, you don't need much. I have some paper. You can grab some markers or some crayons or really anything to color with, and maybe a stapler if you have one. Or if not, you can get some ribbon to tie your book together. So here I have my 2 pieces of paper. As you can see, Max has already decorated his book. It's a masterpiece, right? So take 2 pieces of paper or more, put them together like this, and then just fold them in half. Now you've got a book. If you want to keep it together, you can try to take a stapler. You can open it up and just try to staple right on the seam. This is kind of hard to do, but you can give it a go, see what happens. That's okay. You can staple it together if you want. Makes it easier to hold it together. Even one staple is good. I think that works for me. So my story is going to be about Max and Molly because they're very special to me. So the title of my story is I Love You, Max and Molly. So there's my title. I love you, Max and Molly. Then you could put the author, which is you, is at the bottom. So now we've got our title page. I love you, Max and Molly. Author is me. So then I'm going to open my book to the first page, and I'm going to write, I love Max and Molly. And you could write any reason. As you can hear, Max is trying to play with his ball pit in the background. I love Max and Molly because they are nice to each other. That's one way that they are special. They're nice to each other. Now Max has already decorated my page, but you can go ahead and draw a picture to go with your, I'm sorry, I gotta show you this. Max is trying to play in his ball pit. So you can, okay, thank you. So you can write a story about why you love your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister, and then give it to them as a special surprise because remember, gifts from the heart, like we learned from our story, are the best. So that about wraps it up for Sunday School Story Time today. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, 1, 2. And again, another masterpiece from my sidekick over here, Max DePonte. Enjoy.